how to get past mental blocks like fear of being criticized, procrastination, or a lack of a well-defined purpose in order to do what you want to do most in life. Mental blocks hold you back from getting started because sometimes it just feels too overwhelming, or actually you might even get bonus points if you don't even know what your mental blocks are. And this is exactly why we started L.O.G Academy. L.O.G Academy is an online Instagram-based learning platform where we want to help everybody who wants to start working on those things that they really want to do in life. Hi, my name is Ivana and I am a content creator, business consultant, and a public speaker. On the other side is my brother Sinisha. Sinisha, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Nisha. I'm here in Hong Kong and I work as an executive coach with multinational corporations.
That's awesome. Recently, we launched our newest workshop on L.O.G Academy called Breaking Barriers, and it is all about getting past mental blocks. And that's why today in this podcast, we're also going to be talking about that, sharing personal stories. But if you are already curious about the workshop, head over to the website, which is linked down in the description below. Without further ado, let's just get into our personal stories and sharing some of the lessons that Sinisha and I learned along the way, dealing with our own mental blocks, because trust me, we have had plenty and we still have plenty. So let's get into this matter. First of all, unfulfilled desires. Niche, you've always wanted to do that one thing, but you can't get past your mental block. What was that for you?
I had loads of things that I wanted to do. Starting my own company is one of them. But really what held me back was the mental block of always being undisciplined and always kind of being like a yes man. Is that the right word to say?
Okay.
Like the term? Basically saying yes to everything and anything.
Okay, so, but when you say that, I always thought of myself as an undisciplined person. I was always a yes man. Was that something that you consciously thought about yourself?
No, absolutely not. If I did, and there was a defining moment in my life where I realized that I was, but if I did, of course, I would have changed it much earlier, because for me, that mental block was really holding me back from my unfulfilled desires, because continuously saying yes to everything means you're also saying no to your own personal dreams and your goals. They don't just come by themselves. You have to work hard for them, and it was frustrating and confusing in a unfulfilled way. In course one, we talk about our personal goals and basically ways to understand what our true inner desires are. I had no idea that this mental block was actually holding me back from going towards more my core needs and my inner desires.
So just to paint a picture, what was or what were certain things that you were saying yes to, which didn't necessarily benefit you or contributed to that one thing that you really wanted to do in life, which was starting your own company?
Oh, loads. Projects at work. I mean, I've been in corporate life for a long time. So project at work, I would always be asked to do it, even if it's like organizing a Christmas party, for instance.
Okay.
And just between me and you and loads of people now, I hate organizing. I genuinely, when I organize and I get questions like how many people are coming, who's coming, what are we going to do, I find that very unnerving and very tedious to answer those questions. Out of core skills work projects, lots and lots of those, like extracurricular activities, drinking after work, partying after work, unique and strange sports that I've never done or never will be good at. Tennis is one of them. I've done it for once or twice in my life. absolutely disliked the sport, and still the second time I said yes, even though I knew the first time.
So what made you say yes to those things then? Why would you want to organize the office Christmas party, for instance?
I think another core identity for me is being liked.
Okay.
I think a lot of people can
definitely
really resonate with this, where I'll say I found it difficult to not be liked, so I would go out of my way to be liked. My personality is also about being liked. There's very few people in this world, from my knowledge, that dislike me.
Oh yeah, we're programmed as social creatures, because back in the days, not being liked could result in exile. So we're biologically, which meant death. So not being liked could actually lead to death back in the days when we lived in tribes.
Expulsion of the group.
Yeah, so being liked is a huge biologically wired need that we have as humans. But obviously in the world of today, you have to make certain choices where it benefits you to be liked and where it doesn't benefit you. And organizing the Christmas party.
I think so, and to have the confidence to say, in my case, to say no to something.
Yeah.
Still knowing that you will be liked.
Exactly.
So me linking my identity to...
That's a life skill.
Yeah. Well, it took me a long time to get there.
Same.
Yeah. And one thing, I don't know if you had this, because for me, I was very much on the yes and really being bad at saying no. I genuinely did not notice the amount of time and energy it cost me or drained off of me. A lot of Sundays I was just by myself at home, simply not being able to do anything because I was so drained of Monday to Saturday.
Oh yeah. No, already in college, I remember so clearly. In the law school that I was, University of Amsterdam, everything is your own responsibility. So whatever classes you attend, whatever tests you want to take, everything is your own responsibility. So you have a lot of freedom, but you also still need to do the work. So while I was studying and at the same time partying a lot, I already noticed that I just couldn't keep up. And it was the first time in my life when I switched on my phone to silent and I muted all incoming messages because I just couldn't deal with it. I clearly remember that I was taking a nap. Wow. And I think I got woken up at least 5 times during that nap because somebody was calling me friends or maybe like a fellow college students for some assignments or something, and I just couldn't handle. I knew that I would just go mad if I kept taking all the calls and all the messages. So I think that was the first time in my life when I realized, no man, I need time for myself. I can't deal with the world if I don't get my own peace of mind.
Yeah.
So very early
Was that
on,
your biggest mental barrier though?
No, definitely not. My biggest mental barrier was very different than yours. It was something that I think a lot of people also deal with in society, the fear of criticism. And again, also the fear of not being liked. But I really wanted to backpack. And the environment that I was working in, the corporate world, you have very few vacation days, but at the same time every year your salary keeps rising, so obviously your mindset shifts from budget vacations, which we used to do in college, to having more and more luxury vacations because you want to make the most out of the limited vacation days that you have. So I would always go to luxury resorts, and at the same time that also attributes to the kind of identity that you are creating for yourself and also the reputation that you are building for yourself. But then, as I discussed also in our last podcast, my friend Claudia, she went to backpack. And I started getting acquainted with this idea of backpacking, where I really started seeing the benefits. And I started getting so curious about it because I saw how close it takes you to the daily life of locals in many, many different countries. It's very hard to get a taste of daily local life, of a very new culture for you in a luxury resort. And
yeah, definitely.
That new perspective, I was really, really craving that. I just really wanted to broaden my mind, to learn how things can be done differently all across different cultures. But at the same time, being in that corporate world, only going to luxury resorts on vacation, it really gave me a fear that if I would go backpacking, people would think less of me. They would think that I was poor now, that I didn't have any more money, that I maybe even went bankrupt. So for the longest of time, that really held me back from, even considering backpacking. I just thought backpacking is dirty, backpacking is for poor people. Whereas on the other side, my curiosity was growing so much because I saw how backpacking really gave you a chance to experience daily local life all across different cultures. And in that sense, develop as a human being by just learning how things can be done differently. So that was a massive mental block for me.
So was that mental block developed by yourself or by kind of like the surrounding where you are and the idea that backpacking is dirty?
Both, I think. Definitely by myself, because I had never backpacked in my life. So I had made up all these prejudices about backpacking and backpackers in my own mind. Obviously, what you see from backpackers is that they live very simple. Some of them take it to extremes where they don't even take showers anymore or wear the same clothes for the longest of time, making them very smelly. So I always thought that backpacking is for poor people because you can't afford luxury resorts. And then other people, the kind of friends that I have, they wouldn't necessarily consider backpacking. For instance, my best friend Nadine, she is a neat freak. So she cannot handle stains in sheets or even, sometimes public transportation. That is just not her jam. Obviously, that will also influence your perception. Yeah, definitely. The decisive moment for me was when I saw Claudia do it. And Claudia was my colleague. And she, luckily, thank God, she started a blog where she would, every other day, she would write about their experiences. And this fueled my curiosity for backpacking so much that I actually started reading more blogs from backpackers. And I just realized that I didn't know anything about this, and maybe I should, first start gathering some information about it in order to understand what it actually is and how it works. Now I'm curious, did you also have a decisive moment like that, or was it more gradual change that happened in your life?
No. I was completely oblivious to it. I had a very clear decisive moment where it was literally, I messed up on a regional level. All eyes were on me. I felt incredibly ashamed and I said never again.
What happened?
For me, really, it was because of A, B happened, and there's no excuse and no things around it. So what happened? So I got invited, because of my work, I got invited to a regional meeting where all the directors from the region come. I think it's about 8 countries or so in Australia, Sydney. And my flight would go on a Sunday, and I was partying on Saturday, because obviously I said yes. And people said like, oh, your flight is tomorrow, let's have a few drinks, it's totally fine. I'm like, yeah, 8 a.m.
You went partying, that's fine.
So yeah, it gets even worse. So I wake up. I went partying until 4 a.m. and I wake up at 7 a.m. So I slept through my alarm for about 1 hour. So it was going, snoozing. And I woke up completely hungover and still like dazed of the whole the whole last night. And in my mind, it was so funny. In my mind, I thought, oh, great, my flight is in 1 hour. I can totally get to the airport and be on my flight. So crazy. And so I was like, okay, great.
Man.
Put on my clothes. Don't think. Just go. Luckily, I thought, okay, I packed my suitcase already. So put on my clothes. Go. walk outside, and it's
God.
pouring, like absolutely pouring. It's raining like crazy. So I'm like on this little corner where my street was, where no taxis come. So I have to go to another one. So I walk there. 10 minutes later, still trying to get a taxi, completely drenched, still hungover, and not realizing in my mind that there is no way you can take that flight. And finally got on a taxi. The taxi got me to the airport express.
Yeah.
And that's when it dawned on me. It's seven, I think it was 7:23 or something like that. It's 7:23. I got about 38 minutes to catch my flight. Right? It's already finished. There's no check-in.
You can only check your luggage like the latest 1 hour in advance.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right? I was like, the whole logic was out the window. I was just like, my mind was so focused on hyper performance. I must get on that plane. And then I started calculating, wait, I got 38 minutes, but my train is 26 minutes. So from the train to the actual door of the airplane, I will have, what's that, quick math, 26 for 12 minutes. No. There's no way you can make it, nor, like you said, did I have check-in. I won't even get past customs in 12 minutes. And that's when it dawned on me, exactly that. Oh my God, I messed up.
Oh my God.
What am I going to do? It's like, shit, I got a call. It's in Australia. It's not like, oh, sorry, I'll be an hour late. It's a completely different country. So, so the director I report to, they were already in Australia, so 3 hours ahead. It's a Sunday, so it's around noontime there, and I decide to call, and they pick up and say, Sanisha, hey, and I'm like, hey, it's me. I missed my flight, and they're like, what happened?
Oh God!
And that's when I realized I got two options. Yeah, either I lie and kind of save my professional image that they have with me.
Yeah.
But I lose my integrity. Or I don't lie, risk losing my professional image, but maintain my own personal integrity to myself. You know me, which one did I choose?
To be honest, I just rewatched Game of Thrones, and I was so annoyed with Jon Snow and his honesty that I salute you if you chose to remain, to keep your, oh God.
I was a Jon Snow.
No! Oh my God, oh my God. Oh no,
I was a Jon Snow.
F that, no. But okay, I shall choose to respect you for your integrity and your honesty. So what did your boss say?
Very little.
But did you also say that you went partying?
And usually
and
that's
stuff?
a bad sign.
Or did you just say I overslept, I slept on my alarm or something like that?
I did say I overslept on my alarm, but you know, they're not stupid. They said what happened, right? And then again, you can say whatever you want. I mean, for those that don't know, I was in the recruitment world, which is all salespeople, and our job is to ask questions and uncover problems, right? So we don't take these kind of little answers, or like oh, I overslept, because you don't oversleep for a 13-hour flight.
It's 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
You don't oversleep for a regional meeting.
Like.
All right. Anyway, that's up for another discussion. So I overslept. I told the truth. And again, very little words, and that's very, very, very bad. They said, call me when you have the next flight, and we'll figure it out when you're here. I think I was very lucky, because there was another flight about, I think, 6 hours later. So instead of arriving there, I think about 8 a.m. or something, and then going to the office, I would arrive somewhere noon or 2 p.m. or so, and then go to the office. And I took that flight. I paid of it from my own cost. They were very kind and eventually got me the cash back for the next flight. But basically, I was in a flight. I was completely hungover. Yeah, I knew for 13 hours. I was in there with my head banging, and I knew my director was not pleased with me. So for all of you that are ever in communication with someone and you messed up and they don't talk to you or you don't talk to them, you know, like the more hours pass, the more you start thinking about scenarios, your mind is going crazy and all that stuff. So honestly, that moment in the airplane was, this is not it. And when I got there, it was double.
Yeah.
This is not it. So yeah, no. So basically, I got into Sydney, rushed to my hotel, quickly changed. I mean, I don't know. I probably smelled like crazy from like smoke or club or even the alcohol. My breath is probably terrible. So I fixed myself up and went to the regional office there, or the head office there. Into the meeting room. Of course, it's not lunchtime. They already started. So I walk into a room of about 13 or 14 directors and seniors.
Oh my God.
And all eyes on me. All eyes on me. Everyone knew. Everyone knew.
I'm happy it was a decisive moment, because like this kind of thing repeating over and over again, that's just, oh my gosh, no.
The shame that I felt, and regardless of if I'm good at my work.
It's just about being professional.
It's exactly. And you know, there's a lot of leeway. Some people could laugh about it, some others definitely did not. I'm laughing about it now. But definitely not back then. So to me, that was like never again. And then when you said like, oh, did I gradually change or not? That's when I gradually, but with haste,
you literally saw like, because of A, B happens and B is unacceptable by now.
To me, unacceptable, yeah. What about your decisive moment? Or was it gradual for you?
I think the decisive moment was when Claudia went and she started writing her blog.
Okay.
And I saw what backpacking actually was. When I started reading her blog, I started to realize how little I knew about what backpacking actually is. And that's when I decided that, you know what, I'm curious about this thing. I think it will evolve me into a better person, because I will learn more about how things can be done differently over different types of cultures. So I started reading a lot more backpacking blogs. I started reading exactly how people backpack. Like, do you always stay in a hostel? Because up until that point, I can tell you honestly, I had never even stayed in a guest house.
Wow.
I had never, maybe we stayed in a vacation home when, you know, we were younger with our parents, but I would always stay in at least a 4-star or a 5-star hotel.
When you were working,
below that, I just felt that, ew, it's going to be dirty and, you know, the safety is not going to be taken care of and blah, 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 blah. Whereas when I actually started reading about what backpacking actually is, I understood that if you stay in a guest house with a family, that's sometimes even more safer than staying in a hotel, because a family starts taking care of you. They start, you know, looking out for you, especially if you're a solo female traveler. Because I was also reading solo female traveler blogs. And then I think what was also very, very important for me, the first time that I started discussing this idea of backpacking with my loved ones, for instance, with you, but especially with Nadine, because Nadine has been such a huge role model in my life. Nadine is my best friend, which I've known since I was 10 years old. Basically, she's a sister from another mister for me, for the people who don't know. She's literally one of the most sweet, empathetic, understanding people in the world.
But that's interesting, because you say sweet, empathetic, great girl. But you felt...
Yeah, but that's what I'm about to say. She is a neat freak. Whenever Nadine comes over to your house, she will start cleaning your kitchen. She is a neat freak. So, like, Nadine does not like messy places. Nadine doesn't like dirt.
Look, in her defense, I would invite her to my home anytime.
Oh!
Yeah?
Yes, 100%. I love having Nadine over. 100%. But the thing was that I thought that she would be very judgmental about backpacking.
That's what I was thinking too. So you were afraid to tell her or not?
I was a little bit apprehensive. I thought that she would think that I lost my mind or something. because we both had worked so hard to get to a certain point in our life where we could afford a good life. And she was the complete opposite of that. And this is one of the reasons why I love her so much. She was like, oh, but if you want to do it, why don't you just do it? Like, just see what it's like.
So nice. Let's take a step back. You said, oh, if you want to do it, you should do it. So you told her and she reacted like that. But how did you feel when you told her? Like, did you prepare for it? Did you feel anxious? Like, what was your mindset before you told her?
I didn't prepare it. I think it was one of our, Saturday night hanging out in middle of the night, 3 a.m. kind of girl talks, where I just said, hey, I think I really would like to backpack. And she was like, wait, backpacking? What? Like, obviously she wanted to know more about it. But then when I told her why it was so appealing to me, she was like, yeah, you should totally do it. And she has always been so supportive of me, of all the good things in my life. So that was when I felt even more confident, because one of my biggest fears in life was, just like you, losing the people who you love because you change too much. And I was scared that if I would go backpacking, I would turn into a backpacker, which again is like such a stupid thought. Like, you can literally go backpacking one week and stay in a luxury resort the other week, whatever. Like, the world is not black and white, but until that point, my world was very black and white when it came down to travel. I kind of felt that I got permission to at least pursue my curiosity and see what this is like. And this led me to actually take my first backpacking trip to Krakow, Poland, because I've always wanted to visit Auschwitz. And in order to visit Auschwitz, you have to go to Krakow in Poland. Turned out to be one of the most amazing, beautiful cities in the world. But it was also the first time that I swear to God, with shaking hands, I was booking a hostel. And I remember clearly being like, I have to stay in a girls only dorm, because I was so scared of staying in a mixed dorm.
Why not?
For a first time, 100%. And then when I arrived, the company through which I booked my hostel room, they messed up. So the girl from the this was, I shit you not, I was sitting there for like 2 hours shaking, thinking that I would have to stay in a mixed dorm. It was that bad for me. So I think the reason also why I'm sharing this is to show that a lot of people will have a lot of different mental barriers. Probably people who are watching this and have backpacked a lot would be like, why would you be scared of, staying in a mixed dorm? But for me, at that time, it was literally a nightmare. I could not imagine myself of staying in a mixed dorm with like girls and boys mixed. And luckily, the hostel was so nice, so friendly, that they actually ended up giving me a complete dorm, which was empty, for myself. Mentally, it already took me so much to just book a girls' dorm. Going for a mixed dorm right now is just too much for me. And luckily, they decided to upgrade me and give me a whole... it was like a 10-bed dorm, which was empty, and they gave it, she gave it to me only. So that was very sweet. But it really helped me to see that, hostels are, first of all, not dirty. If you stay in a good hostel, they will be super, super clean. And then that the staff of hostels is very different than the staff of hotels. They're much more personal and they're much more accessible. So it really built my confidence, that experience, even though it was terrifying.
Well, we know where it got you now, traveling around the world and making YouTube videos.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you change?
How did I change? After getting into that room with 13, 14 people looking at me, all very senior that I look up to, I needed to figure out how not to do it. So I really realized A needs to go because B is not worth it. And I think, like you, I started to read a little bit more. I read a lot on Reddit, and I found a subreddit on how not to give a fuck. And basically, it's a subreddit. A lot, it's kind of 50-50. I don't know how it grew over the years, so maybe if you look at it now, it'll be slightly different. But basically, back then, it was 50-50 on I don't know how to say yes, or I don't know how to say no, or I don't know how to stand up for myself. And the other part was I don't care about everything type of thing. So I was looking more on the first one rather than the second. And so I was reading that. I was also reading or came across, I think it was recommended to me by one of your friends, but I'm not 100% sure. Tucker Max.
Oh,
you know it, right? So Tucker Max, for those that don't know, so this is a guy that genuinely does not give a fuck about anything. Anything. He
crazy.
does the most
in
insane
his college
things.
times. He changed now. He's
He changed
all grown
a lot.
up. He got
he changed
married.
A lot. Yeah.
But the books that he wrote, maybe that's
God.
important to mention.
Yeah.
The first one is I Hope They Serve
Beer in Hell. Yeah.
And the second one was Bad Guys Finish First or something, or
Something
Good Guys
like
Finish Last, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll add the links down in the description below.
So for me, I could not identify myself with his identity and lifestyle at all. I genuinely don't like to be that guy. But how he says no and yes to things, and how he opposes things, and even gets
He's
away.
He's actually also a Jon Snow, because he literally, just to give people an example, like he very often just gets drunk and goes to like random girls telling them like, I just want to bang you. And that's it. You cannot expect any more of this. Or sometimes he even insults them. Like he would go to a fat girl and just make fun of her. And like at the end of the night, she ended up sleeping with him. Yeah. It's crazy. The stories are absolutely crazy.
So to me, the really, of course, the stories were hilarious, and I was thinking, oh my God. So it's worth to read the books if you like that kind of entertainment. But the way that he would never ever say yes or no to something that's for him was very interesting for me, because I would always say yes to others for others because I wanted to be liked. He doesn't care if he's liked or not. Absolutely not. Totally. There's so many people that hate him.
Well, let's be real. He was drunk 90% of the time.
Still, I can only go by the books and the stories that he tells, and I can only deduct things from it. And basically, slowly over time, I learned that my identity should not be validated or approved by others. My identity should be validated and approved by myself. And that image, that creation of my image took a long time. So in the meantime, I was still reading a lot more things. I was meeting people that I look up to, that genuinely would say things like, I send them a video and I said, by the way, don't put this on full volume in a coffee shop. And he would say like, oh, why not? It's like, it might be embarrassing. He said, well, I don't care about people that don't pay me money, right? I don't care about people's opinions if they don't pay me money. So I was like,
oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Wow.
Right? So
yeah.
So those kind of things made me think, and I was thinking, of course it's not for me to not care, but I can take elements of this mindset and apply it really where it fits my personality, that I still keep my own identity. And slowly but surely, I got to the point where I could easily say no. But in between that, just for those that don't know, I identified for myself risk hours. So what were the hours where I would say most of the time yes to and be disappointed the next day? Mine were very simple, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. because it'll end up being 4 a.m. Right? Yeah. And then the next day I will definitely be disappointed. So what did I do? I booked my 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. almost always, the risk hours, so to say. Yeah.
Okay.
So that I have, in the meantime, an excuse to say, sorry, I can't be there because I'm doing kickboxing, or I need to go and visit this friend, or I have a dinner booked with friends.
That's smart.
So that worked for me to kind of transition slowly onto the side. And now I just say no. Like, no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very easy with saying no.
Yeah, these days, for sure. What about yours, though?
I think that first backpacking trip really taught me that, all the prejudices that I had about backpacking, yes, they are true, but only for a very small group of backpackers. You can make backpacking into anything that you want. So I really learned how to make backpacking work for me, and I did find what I was looking for in backpacking. It is a way to get a lot more closer to the local culture. It lets you experience daily life in a place or in a certain culture a lot more. And it teaches you how to do things differently in life. There's not one answer. This world is not black and white in terms of how things can be done. And I really, really love that, because I think it made me into a better human being. I think it made me a lot more open to new perspectives. It made me a lot more curious also instead of judgmental.
Hopefully we can also influence others with this course as well. Yeah. And on Breaking Barriers, when do we start again?
So Breaking Barriers starts on May 3rd. If you want all the information in details, obviously you can go to the link down in the description below. Dealing with these mental blocks has brought us a lot of freedom and joy in our life, but actually we don't want you to go through a tedious process like we did, and therefore we developed this workshop. It's only 5 days where you can get instant results, saving time and money, because very often dealing with mental blocks, in order to get started, what you really want to get started on takes at least 6 months up to a year, which obviously also costs a lot more money. And actually, I think it's also less stressful and deals with your insecurities in a safe environment, because you will get guidance from Sinisha and me personally in the workshop. It is a closed group with a limited amount of people, so you will also get personal attention. Everybody has different mental blocks that they're dealing with, because obviously each of us has a different one thing that they really, really want to do in life. For Sinisha, it was starting his own company, but in order to do that, he needed to get more disciplined and less of a yes man. And for me, it was backpacking, and in the end, actually even moving to India. But for you, it might be something completely else. It might be writing a book, finally getting fit, traveling the world if you would like to do that. So yeah, this workshop is really supposed to put you in a pressure cooker for 5 days, but it will just save you so much time and so much stress.
My yes man and fear of criticism, it took me 5 years to deal with that. It took me, if you take it about to reality, it took me 27 years to actually uncover that I have it. So yeah, I'd rather I'd rather spend 5 days to work on it than 5 years.
I think it took me at least 2 years to take, from the moment that I heard Claudia talking about backpacking, reading on her blog, and then finally taking that first backpacking trip myself. I think it really took me at least 2 years. And, the faster you learn, the faster you can also get to the things that you really want to do in life. And I think it's important.
And get away of the fear, insecurities, and those barriers that hold you back. The disappointment the next day was always very troubling for me.
For me, it was the fear of regret at the end of my life, because you know that guy who wrote that book where he interviewed, I think, 100 people who were dying, and then he asked them what their biggest regrets were in life, or their biggest life lessons. And one of those top 5 biggest regrets in life was not doing certain things that they wanted to do. And that made such a huge impact on me. Nowadays, whenever I'm scared of doing something, or I feel that I'm holding myself back of exploring a certain curiosity, I always ask myself, okay, but how would I feel about this when my final hour strikes? And if the feeling is that, oh my gosh, I will regret this so much, I am like, no, I have to do this. So
I did the same. I know.
Yeah, it's important to ask yourself that.
We can definitely ask that to every participant.
Definitely.
And make sure that they are on the right path.
So if you would like more information about the workshop, make sure to click the link down in the description below. For now, Sinisha, thank you so much for sharing your
pleasure.
Extremely intimate and personal story. Let's be real.
I think it's worth sharing.
100%.
So others can avoid these kind of things.
100%. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us and listening to us. If you would like to hear more of our podcasts and get notified whenever we launch a new workshop, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to our mailing list on the website. For now, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.